Welcome back to the Sports Source, the segment brought to you by Madisonville Marine. If you're in the market for a new boat, you want to be taking your family and friends out on the water next spring and summer, then you need to talk to the folks at Madisonville Marine this week, right now. Supply chains are backed up. Boat companies are just now catching up. That means you're going to have to order your boat now if you want it by next spring and summer. So, Joe Special, the crew at Madisonville Marine, there's a reason we say there's no better place to buy a boat. Because there's no better place to buy a boat in terms of selection and pricing and just the overall customer service. They do great work. Madisonville Marine on Highway 411 North in Madisonville. All right, Tennessee is 6-1, a win over a ranked North Carolina team, a loss to a highly ranked Villanova team. Let's talk about what surprised us. We talked about ball screens. They're shooting more threes. Rick Barnes has kind of broken the mold a little bit so far this season. We're early into the year, but there are a lot of things that, the book on Rick Barnes seems to be that he's closed that book, shifted it over here, and now I got a new book this year. I don't know that it's going to stay that way, but there have been some surprises. What have you guys seen that have surprised you so far this year?
The three-point shooting, that's one thing. I went to a practice, and I heard him tell Josiah James point blank. It was a set play, and it was one pass. And he wanted him to shoot it. He was like, shoot the ball, you know what I mean? So that was encouraging. I think it's got a lot to do with the team he has, though. He hadn't had these sorts of guards. We had good guards, but not, push the pace kind of guards. So why slow down if you got such electric guards? So he's just coaching the team he has, and they're just a bit different from what he's used to, I believe.
Which is a good sign in itself, because there are a lot of guys who just do what they do. Give me the guy who can say, I'm going to adjust my team based on what I've got. Mark, your thoughts? What surprised you so far?
I love the adaptation that they've done on offense. We've talked about ball screens, but moving Fulkerson to the high post area, even at the top of the key with handoffs, and then being able to read back cutters. Fulkerson's a great passer, so it's another example of Barnes and staff adapting to his personality or his personnel on his team. Chandler running around and even doing some posting up because he's, again, a good passer, get the ball in his hands. Outside of schematics, I think Ziegler has been a big surprise. I think his speed and his athleticism, that dynamic with Vescovi and Chandler, and then you put Justin Powell out there that can shoot the basketball, another big surprise for me. And the last one I would say is Olivier's development. I think his stats are improved, but just his better understanding defensively about rotations. That's what makes this team good defensively is, yes, we can talk about deflections and steals, but the reason they have deflections and steals is because they are so good in their preparation off the ball. They're ready to move on help side and rotate, and Olivier is one of the catapults of that.
Josh, Vince, anything else stand out to you? It could be rotation, who's getting more minutes than you thought or less minutes. Anything surprise you so far?
Yeah, Olivier had a great, to your point, a great backside block in that game yesterday. And I think Olivier and Urosh, their improvement has been a little bit of a surprise. I wasn't sure that Urosh would be, with all this competition and depth and numbers, that he would be in the rotation, but he has earned it. And I think he's given them some pretty solid minutes. There aren't the, oh my God, what's he doing type of moments with him on a ball screen. And Mark talked about how that's been a change and something they've done better and improved on. He was the one out on setting the screen, and he quickly flashed the basket. Well, the defender came in as Urosh was really threatening towards the basket. Well, that defender that dropped off was off of Josiah Jordan James, who ended up hitting that three to extend the lead when Colorado was getting close. So that was another surprise.
The Plavsic minutes, that's kind of the rotation surprise for me, that he's getting as much time as he has. Josh, I'm going to move on with you because Vince went for an hour. That's all right. Just beat him up in the parking lot.
Olivier was my answer too, so they covered it.
Okay, good deal. You get the most important question by yourself here. All to you. Let's take a look at the Vols' next 5 games. Texas Tech 6-1. You got them in New York City on Tuesday. North Carolina Greensboro, they got a good record. We know what they are. They typically make the NCAA tournament as a small college team. South Carolina Upstate, one of the few duds you'll have on your schedule all year. Then you got number 18 Memphis and Penny Hardaway, who yesterday was just talking about all the negativity in his locker room. I felt so bad for him. Such a nice guy, such a great program.
Did you see him during the game, by the way? His
No.
energy, he had enough with his team during the game. It was on his face. It was apparent.
You may be getting him at the right time. And then you got number 11 Arizona coming in here. I love this schedule. I mean, kudos to Rick Barnes and the crew that made it. It's just if you're a basketball fan, you're seeing all the big names. Your thoughts, though, that's a heck of a stretch of 5 straight games. Do you think most people, though, would trade Texas Tech and Arizona if it meant beating Penny Hardaway in Memphis?
Yeah, they might give up SC Upstate for it, just to make sure you take emphasis against Memphis. You don't need to do that. But I agree. I love the schedule, I love the layout, love the competition before you get to SEC play, because that's going to be really good. Look at Alabama beating Gonzaga on Saturday night. So really good test. The Memphis game, it'll be the Penny stuff, all that. But you have real talent on the floor. So back to Kennedy Chandler and the conversation around him. How some of Tennessee's talent, Josiah, how they match up with what Memphis does will be really interesting.
How important is the game with Memphis just from a recruiting standpoint, or just name brand value inside the state of Tennessee?
I think it's great for the state of Tennessee from a basketball standpoint, from a recruiting standpoint. They got Kennedy Chandler out of Memphis,
Yep.
And haven't been having this rivalry for a little bit. But you're looking at potentially 2 top 5, top 10, definitely lottery pick with Bates at Memphis, and then with Kennedy Chandler if he continues to play the way that he's been playing.
We got to catch a break. When we come back, we're going to do Tennessee's 3 months away from the tournament. 3 more months before we get to the tournaments. What do they need to work on? What do they have to improve? That's next. Coming back on the Sports Source.